And then there were two. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Cochise County Sports Show. I'm Dave Davies. That is Paul Corder. Hope you all having a fine day today. We're going to let you all funnel in because we got some fun things going on today on the show.
I don't even know about.
We want to inspire you to watch the show. Well, we're going to let you funnel on in here, and then we're going to give away some stuff. So good morning, Pizzy. How was football this weekend? Never mind. I don't want to ask you that question.
Top of the morning to you, Dave.
Top of the morning to you. It's a fine day for football talk, is it?
What did you do to my mic stand?
So we're going to finish up our, even though we still have Buena Colt football going on right now, we're going to finish up our football wrap up for the season. And next week, we're going to do our basketball preview show. And we're going to have a special guest next week. I'm not going to tell you who that is, but we have a special guest. And by the way, don't mind the beanie. Anytime it drops under 63 degrees, I just freak out. Plus, plus we beat the Niners this week, so I thought I'd show a little love. But good morning. So yeah, we have some football previewing to do here. We had 3 games last week. One of them, the Marine Academy Eagles, won their game. They're going to be in back-to-back finals in the Kenyan Athletic Association.
Well, not only that, Dave, but they went from Division I to Division III. The top division. Hold on, I'm doing a mic check. Go ahead, Phil. No, we're good. We're good. But yeah, Dave, thank you everyone for joining us here on Cool FM Live. As always, this is brought to you by Synergy Home Care, providing non-medical home care for people that struggle with activities of daily living. And today, partnered with Buena High School and the nursing program. So if you are in the nursing program, get with the nursing director or Jennifer, and she will let you know how you could be employed by Synergy Home Care and also get accredited for doing the work for Synergy Home Care. Exciting news going on. I
told you we're going to give stuff away today. And by the way, you might want to get your friends into the show because we're going to be giving something really good away today.
Not just a hat, huh?
No hats today. This is brought to you by Texas Roadhouse. Roadhouse. We had kids night last night. If you bring kids in on Mondays, they'll get a voucher for a free kids meal. If you mention that you watched this show today or that you watch the games that we do, you get free fried pickles or free potato skins at Texas Roadhouse.
Roadhouse?
That's the Roadhouse. That's just the tip of the iceberg of stuff we are giving away today. We're also here at Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol. Again, don't mind the beanie. It is perfect golfing weather out there today.
Yeah, we just broadcast in the shade if you couldn't tell from our lighting.
It is perfect golfing weather out there today. They have They have free kids lessons once a week. Go to the website. They have a women's sip and putt. They have all kinds of things going on here. They have military specials. It is almost free to play golf at this point at Sierra Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol.
Don't forget that driving range that's under construction right behind us. Targets, golf simulators. You can play different courses. You can play Pebble Beach. I don't know. They didn't name courses, but you can name PGA courses and legendary courses. There's just a lot.
I can't play putt-putt courses, but it's fine.
I'm sure they can. No, that's a good idea.
But again, folks, I have a trivia question for you today. We're going to be giving some stuff away. So get people into this show so that way we all have a fair fight for what I'm giving away today.
I would agree with that. Well, Dave, let's go through a rundown of what's on the show today. You don't have a diatribe is what you said. I can't believe it. Thank goodness. Rick Hankney in the chat says Texas Roadhouse has dined to donate several times for Sahara.
We have one tonight for the Sierra Vista Dance Company.
Yeah, absolutely. Sierra Vista Dance Company, great performance with the Nutcracker, best one I've seen, and that's no bull on that. But, yeah, we're going to run down the happenings. We had 3 teams last week in our football playoffs. Unfortunately, one was eliminated. We do have our all-Cochisian team. What's all-Cochisian, Paul? It's all-American.
We decided a couple of years ago that we wanted to give our own recognition to the kids that live in our county, so we put together a team every year of who we think are the best football players that we have that we would represent to send to the rest of the country to kick their butts.
Yeah, I think I couldn't have said it better myself. And then, of course, we do have a 3-question NFL quizzy for Pizzy. And Paul wants to show that he knows ball. I just cannot stop rhyming. And possibly a prediction from Dave Davies.
I have a prediction, all right.
Let's go ahead and
I'm sure by the end of the show I'll have something to whine about. I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Let's jump right into the show. Do you want to go ahead and start us off? And again, I don't know what you're giving away, but you said it's something very special. Do you want to go ahead and start us off with your trivia question?
Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, now this one I'm going to predicate as I always do because I'm giving away something really cool today. No using the internet to cheat. If you use the internet to cheat, you're a bad person to win this prize. You need to know sports in order to answer these questions, okay? Because nobody's going to know the answer to this one.
Oh, goodness
The
gracious.
San Diego Chargers have made one Super Bowl in their entire existence. I'll even give you a hint. It was in 1995. Who was the quarterback of the San Diego Chargers the 1 year that they made a Super Bowl? Do you know the answer to that question?
Not off the top of my head, no.
If you can tell me who the quarterback was of the San Diego Chargers the one and only year they went to the Super Bowl, you get a free 9 holes of golf at Sierra Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol.
I'm trying so hard.
You heard what I said.
Is it
free
names?
9 holes of golf at Sierra
Really?
Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol.
Free
Golf. So there you go.
Can I answer? Please. Wow, no disrespect to those hats, but that is a lot better than those hats that we were giving away.
Hey, I told you I had something for you today. So if you want to play golf for free at Sierra Vista Golf Center, all you have to do is tell me who the quarterback was of the San Diego Chargers the year they went to the Super Bowl without cheating.
Does
if
he
you
have 3
cheat
names?
and you answer the question and you get no.
Okay.
And you answer the question and by cheating and you get the free golf, I hope you shoot 56.
Man, that is such a wild question. I can't believe I don't know that. I know the Super Bowl. They got
It
killed
was the biggest blowout
by the
Super Bowl history.
49ers. They
Biggest
got
blowout in
absolutely
history.
destroyed.
I'll tell you something coincidental that happened that year. The Niners
Keith
scored.
J. Landry in the chat says Stan Humphries.
That is it.
Keith Landry.
That's my dad's friend Keith. I know he lives on the golf course. Keith, you just won 9 holes of golf.
How about that?
We're going to give your name to the clubhouse over here, and you come down here and check in whenever you want to, and you're going to get a free 9 holes. I know, Keith.
Hey, it pays to jump into our chat live when we're
That
going.
was quick.
That was very quick.
I thought that was a hard one.
That's the thing. I couldn't think of that first name. I was thinking of Bobby Humphries, I think.
No, I remember there was a very funny Sports Illustrated article that year, and they're talking about that. They're like, who is Stan Humphries and where do we get one? Because everyone's all excited. Because that year, Cordell Stewart won the MVP, and they ended up beating the Steelers 10-3 in the AFC Championship game out of the blue. San Diego was not supposed to be in that Super Bowl. It was supposed to be the Steelers.
We went to college in
I'll be right back.
Louisiana on that one. So congratulations, Keith Landry, on that one. Don't forget, folks, last week we recognized all of the other sports, the volleyball, the soccer teams, and the cross-country kids that made it to state and actually performed in state. So if you want to go back and check that video, it was last week's. This week they did upload the swimming state championships. Unfortunately, I have absolutely no idea how to read them or what they mean, but I did see that Buena boys and Douglas boys both went to state. Douglas finished 16th in the relay, and the Buena boys finished 23rd. So congratulations to Buena and Douglas for making the state swimming championships. But all that being said, Dave, it's time to jump into our high school recap coverage before we get to the all-Cochisian team that you sprung on me. I mean, I had it ready for 2 weeks, but I didn't have officially on our nice, clean pieces of paper here that we all get to read off of.
We have a lot to get through today, so we'll do some quick recaps here of Barine and Bisbee and Buena.
Well, we're going to start off with Bisbee, as we always do. The eliminated team, the Bisbee Pumas, finished their season at Pima. A valiant effort, 38-22. The loss for the Bisbee Pumas, but what a great season for Bisbee. I believe they finished 10-2 officially now, and that you think about, and I did text this to head coach Lopez, you think about what's been going on in Bisbee. In 3 years, they've had 3 different coaches, and that's 3 different systems,
like
offensive and defensive. And so the boys put on a performance for the ages, considering the circumstances they were in. They got to the playoffs and honestly hung with Pima. Probably could have performed a little bit better to their standards, but I just think it was a great season overall either way.
Yeah, no, 10-2. I mean, the kids were a little down, as you always are when you lose a playoff game. 10-2, Bisbee. You haven't done this since 1963. It was a great year. It was one of those days where you didn't play your perfect game, and Pima did, and that was it.
Yep.
And there's nothing to hang your heads about. Pima played a great game. We had a couple of fumbles. Things didn't go our way. 10-2, hold your head very, very, very high, Bisbee.
And that is the last time we will see our seniors suiting up for football, most notably Mr. Here, There, Everywhere, Sebastian Lopez. Sebastian Lopez finished this game with 174 passing yards and a touchdown. Also ran the ball for 163 yards in a quarterfinal playoff game at the Pima Rough Riders. That's who Sebastian Lopez is.
He tried to put on that cape. He tried his best.
2 rushing touchdowns, 3 total touchdowns for Sebastian Lopez. Jackson Alvarez did catch that receiving touchdown. Miles Schuler was the leading receiver in the game with 67 yards. Michael Coronado chipped in 51 receiving yards. Moving over to our defensive stats, Mr. Here, There, Everywhere, Sebastian Lopez did lead the team in tackles with 9. Jackson Alvarez tied right with him, and Jackson at 9, and Jackson had a fumble recovery as well. Miles Schuler tacked on a sack in this ballgame, 7 tackles. Michael Coronado, 8 tackles, an interception. Fabian Hernandez, 7 tackles. Luis Hayos Ramos, first time we've said that name all year, had a sack. Spencer Anthony, 6 tackles and a forced fumble in this ball game. But unfortunately, Dave, that's all she wrote for the Bisbee Pumas.
Yeah, again, that's my beloved Bisbee Pumas over there. Great year. And it's okay. You know what I mean? Again, 10-2. What a way to go out on those seniors. They won their home play. They did everything. They won the region. They won the pick. They won a home playoff game. What else? I mean, that's the season for the Bisbee Pumas.
You're not wrong about that. And they are returning a lot of good talent, but I'd be lying if I told you I didn't think they missed those seniors.
No, I mean, every class of every school does.
You're not wrong. Keith Landry says he was rooting for the Chargers in that Super Bowl because the Saints were in the NFC West, and I hated the cheating 49ers.
Cheating?
Good
do you
Lord.
remember that team? There was a Hall of Famer at every position on the field.
Yeah, that's cheating. You can't do that.
No, because remember what they did? They actually manipulated the salary cap. They put everything into bonuses for all the linebackers. So they all made like $900,000 in the year, but they all got $1 million for winning the Super Bowl. I guess they kind of, we'll call it what you want to. The best player of that team, William Floyd, the fullback.
Let's go ahead and
too soon.
Talk about the Berean Academy Eagles, who came out a little bit shaky this season, 0-2. But guess what, Dave? They set their season around now 7-2 as they win their state semifinal game 29-14 against Imagine Prep. They will now take on Heritage Academy in the championship. Heritage Academy 9-0. Previously, they beat the Berean Academy Eagles 44-6 in week 1, but that was a different Berean team.
Very different team. Where's that game? Is that game here?
I don't believe so. It will be on Cool FM Live, by the way, folks. I think that one will also be in
Logan
Phoenix.
Seeley's so good, he's going to play football and call his own game. And Logan Seeley with a big hit, and there's a forced fumble, and I'm bringing it back, and that's a scoop and score. Touchdown, Berean.
Boy, Logan Seeley, I've been going off to this postseason, let me tell you. Jeremiah Bethea in this game threw for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns, also ran for 72 yards. The aforementioned Logan Seeley ran 14 times for 109 yards, a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and again, a punt return touchdown for Logan Seeley. Berean scored 29 points. Logan Seeley had 18 of them. Logan Seeley also defensively tacked on 18 tackles in this ball game, by far the most of any Berean Academy Eagle this year, and 2 tackles for losses.
Is that kid Mormon? Because he's on a mission right now.
How stoked are you that we get to broadcast in St. David? Like the jokes write themselves. Isaac Merrill in this game was the leading receiver, 2 catches for 70 yards, so big plays from Isaac Merrill. Nate Hullinger had a receiving touchdown in this ball game, also contributed 6 tackles, 2 in the backfield. Mason Meskey had 6 tackles, 2 in the backfield, a sack, and a fumble recovery. Isaac Hively had a sack, and Carlos Aponte, sophomore, 1 sack in this ball game. Berean Academy, we talked about it a little bit earlier, Dave, going for back-to-back championships, but in a different way. It would be as if Leicester City in the Premier League, where they got promoted to the top division, the very next year they won the championship. Just unheard of. You just never see that.
Yeah, the Berean Academy is just doing
except for that one example.
Coach Champion things.
Coach Champion.
They're just doing Coach Champion things over there. I fully expect Berean Academy Eagles to bring us home a title and, once again, invite you back into the studio and let you get rowdy.
Right, and here's the thing that Berean has going for them. Heritage is going to look at that first week scoreline and be like, 44-6, we got this, but trust me. Jeremiah Bethea is going to have the boys ready to go. Logan Seeley is going to be doing Logan Seeley things. And I fully expect, again, the Berean Academy Eagles to bring that state championship home. The top division.
Yeah. And can we share the other big news? Until 12 hours ago, we didn't know this. We're going to be broadcasting the Buena Cole home playoff game on Friday, baby. You get the Paul and Dave show for the Buena Colts. Let's go. I didn't see that coming.
No, so here's the thing about that is we said, do we want to put this game on the radio because the kids usually do the broadcast visually and they put it on, but I guess we're going to do the whole shebang-a-bang.
Yes, sir.
Try to work that out on short notice, like you said. 12 hours ago, we were like, what? You want us to do what now?
Yeah.
We get a Buena game?
I thought I was going to get the day off and just go watch the game, but no, I'll go call that Buena game. That's fine because we know they're going to win. So,
Been 3 years.
It's fitting that we finished this the way we started it because we had, the boys on to start our football preview show, and we're going to finish it the same way.
You're not wrong about that. I mean, it's been 3 years in the making. We finally get a Buena football game.
A Buena playoff game.
That's not all. Wednesday, Buena basketball kicks off, and you get the Paul and Dave show.
Yes, that's my sport. Yes, it's time for basketball. Those warm gyms, the squeaky shoes. Oh, I can't wait. Basketball season has arrived. Again, we're not supposed to be doing football and basketball together, but Buena keeps winning.
Mindy Krause said, I'm glad you guys get to come support Buena in person this week. Absolutely. That's what Dave said, too. And he's like, we were thinking about, because there's a few teams that play basketball on Friday, and we were like, there's no way. We're just going to go there, and we're going to be fans.
Yeah.
And so when he said that, I said, well, let's make sure we put Dave to work. And so I said, let's do a radio broadcast.
God forbid Dave gets a day off.
But, yeah, we are super excited, obviously, to follow the Buena Colts. Just nothing but vibes this year from that team.
That's going to be so electric. I cannot wait. We thought that the Bisbee home game against Camp Verde was electric. We thought everyone was electric. This is going to be nuts.
We always love to advertise our broadcast through Cool FM Live. This is one that you folks want to get out to, and you want to make it loud. We want, what's Seattle Stadium called?
Now? Oh, I don't even know anymore. It used to be the Clink.
Okay, we want Arrowhead.
They change them every
at Sierra Vista.
They change them every week.
So anyway, that's enough. Let's jump into these Buena Colts. We just mentioned it. They do have a playoff game. Buena Colts, this is a stat I did not see. I walked into Buena this morning. First playoff win since 1983.
I heard that, which is shocking.
Shocking.
For the Buena Colts.
We think Buena is this wagon all the time.
Well, they're a basketball powerhouse. I mean, I guess football.
They're a football powerhouse, too. They won 7 or 8 games last year.
First playoff wins is 83.
Congratulations to the Buena Colts. Way to get it done.
When's the last time they won 2 playoff games? Because that's coming.
When's the last time they won a state championship? Because they took the best team in the state, Morena, to the wire. Or do you call it Morena? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, say it like Lois Griffin. Morena.
So Buena is now 9-2 on the season. They beat Casa Grande 65-28. So that's 2 games in a row that they played Casa Grande and hung 60 on them. Those are 8-man football numbers. That's what we're used to seeing St. David Tigers do. And the Buena Colts decided that, you know what, we're going to hang 60 on them, and we're going to only let up 28 points this time. So that's going to be...
It's what we call eyebrow raisers.
So next week, it's the Verado Vipers coming to town.
From Buckeye.
And they're about to get snake bitten on their way back to wherever... Oh, it's Buckeye? Yeah, oh, that Buckeye. Is such a drive. Shout out to...
3.5 hours.
Shout out to some in-laws I know out there. But let's talk about the stats for this game. Cash Money Moore.
Cha-ching!
Threw 7 of 9 for 191 yards and 3 touchdowns in this ball game.
That's almost 30 yards in a completion.
I was thinking the same thing. Also ran for a touchdown this ball game. Not to be outdone, Scrappy, 15 carries, 221 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Spoiler, folks, when you hang 65 on a team, you're going to get a lot of touchdowns out of these boys. Michael Luan, 22 carries, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Elias Dyson contributed a receiving touchdown in this ball game. Latavius T.J. Walker, leading receiver for the Buena Colts, 4 catches, 113 yards, and an interception, but that wasn't even his most impressive stat line. We'll get to that in a second. Jaden Thomas, 3 catches, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns in this ball game. The best receiver in Cochise County, Jaden Thomas, getting it done again. That is going to move us over to our defensive stats. Elias Dyson, 7 tackles in this game. I told you, Latavius T.J. Walker, 2 interceptions, took one back to the crib for a touchdown. Ooh. That boy is balling out in the second half of the season. That's exactly when you want to peak, when you go into the postseason as well, Dave.
I'm already jacked for Friday night. I'm already jacked. I didn't see this coming, so I got to start that adrenaline going.
Oh, that wins tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing Buena basketball.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jam and Booker, I'm coming.
I need to take some memory pills if they have them or something.
All right, spoiler alert. Head coach Dennis Baker will be on the show next Tuesday, and we're going to do our Buena basketball preview show. And I'm going to give away more golf next week as well.
Really?
Yeah. That's going to be a thing. You start watching the Paul and Dave show, you're going to get 9 holes of golf, if you know your sports, that is.
Just like Keith Landry in the chat, who got Stan Humphries right away. Ruined the fun for
Ruined
everybody.
the suspense. I thought it was going to be an hour-long suspense.
I would have never got it. I was thinking Billy Joe Tolliver, but either which way. Going back to the defensive stats for the Buena Colts, Jaden Thomas also recorded a tackle for a loss and a fumble recovery in this ball game. Charlie Price led the team with 8 tackles. Daniel Bolin had 7 tackles and 1 in the backfield. Zachary Barrett had a tackle for loss and a sack in this ball game. Sean Bookman, I had to decide on our old Cochisian team, is he offensive or defensive line?
Well, we had that last year with Big Boy from Wilcox. We had the same.
Oh, Jacob White. No, that's Tombstone. Ed Tingle.
Ed Tingle, yes.
You're welcome. So Trenton Williams in this game contributed.
I can't wait to watch that kid play.
Right, a tackle for a loss in this ball game. Bryson Harris had a tackle for loss in this ball game. Xavier Carr, or Javier Carr, however you say it. Don't be afraid to correct me in the chat. Had a sack in this ball game, and Emmanuel Bacharski had a sack in this ball game. So, Dave, those stats on the defense let me know that the Buena Colts were basically playing football in the offensive backfield for Casa Grande.
Yeah, no, that was a one-way ticket to Bootyville for Casa Grande. Thanks for making the trip. See you next year. But we're on to bigger and badder things, and that's the Vipers out of Buckeye. Don't make the trip, because trust me, you're in for it. And like you said, it's gonna be like walking into Arrowhead. You're gonna have thousands of Buena fans there, and it's gonna be loud.
I'll tell you, folks, when the Buena Colts win, and I don't talk in absolutes like Dave Davies, that's why he's a curse at times. He can use it for good, though, right, Douglas? But when the Buena Colts do win, I am 1,000% positive radio broadcast will go out on Cool FM Live, where you guys have seen it before, where we could broadcast the scoreboard or put it on the fans. So we just can't show the game. We don't have rights to show the game. Also, we'll probably put that on the radio as well through Cool FM, Canyon Country. And we just brought a Douglas radio station that I don't know the name of, but I'm sure that'll be on there as well.
Yeah, so exciting times. And Buena, thank you for running football into basketball, Buena. Didn't see that coming.
So we do have 4 players of the week, as you know, it's getting tougher and tougher for me to single anyone out. Obviously, Scrappy's done winning Offensive Player of the Week. Nash Moore's done winning Offensive Player of the Week. So that means Michael Luwan and Logan Seeley are your 2 Offensive Players of the Week.
Definitely better be on that list.
Defensive Player of the Week, I know he's won it offensively, but Latavius T.J. Walker and then Mason Meskey from the Berean Academy Eagles. If you didn't catch when I read off his stat line, Dave, 6 tackles, 2 for loss, a sack, and a fumble recovery.
Oh, yeah, no, I heard
the box score.
Oh, I heard you. So Berean playing for a title this week. Buena playing a second-round playoff game. Doesn't get any better than that in Sierra Vista, Arizona for football.
It sure doesn't, Dave, except for when you have an announcement to make. It's time to reveal the All-American team, All-Cochisian team. I just want people to know why the name came up, because I think it's a stupid name. But everything that I think of, I think is stupid. So there you go. And
so again, there's a lot of names here, so we're just going to give you all the love that you deserve, and we'll go on from there.
So everyone stay tuned right now as everyone's jumping in the chat. We'll start off, Dave, with our first team offense, the 2A San Pedro Player of the Year, quarterback Sebastian Lopez, 2,466 passing yards, by far the leading passer in Cochise County, 19 touchdowns, 1,236 rushing yards, and 15 touchdowns in this on this season.
That's ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
3,700 yards, 34 touchdowns.
And here's the thing, Sebastian Lopez also led all of Cochise County in interceptions with 8. I thought about putting him at safety, but I know Sebastian Lopez, and he'd probably feel disrespected not to be the quarterback, which is tough because I had to make a different position just to put all the good quarterbacks in Cochise County we had in there.
Yeah, so let's move on to our number 1 running back this year. I mean, you folks at home don't need to take any guesses on this one. That's going to be your 2A San Pedro Offensive Player of the Year, the Ward, Landon Ward. 1,626 yards, 14.6 yards per carry. 20 tutters.
20 total touchdowns. Again, Offensive Player of the Year for Wilcox.
14.6 yards per carry.
That's going to move us to running back number 2, Scrappy Bonilla from the Buena Colts. 131 carries, 1,420 yards, 10.8 yards per carry, 18 touchdowns total for Scrappy Bonilla.
The numbers for these players are insane. And our third running back is going to be Cedar Haney. The kid's as strong as wood out of St. David. 1,219 yards, 9.5 yards per carry, 17 tutters. I think our running back room is pretty good.
Cedar Haney couldn't get that 0.5 yards because we have a first down every single time we give it to the boys.
Yeah, that's pretty good running back room.
Yeah, I would say so.
Pretty good quarterback.
I've been saying it all year. That moves us over to our wide receivers, and our wide receiver number 1, Jaden Thomas from the Buena Colts, 36 catches, 899 yards, which amounts to 25 yards per catch, and 15 touchdowns on the season. Dave, we thought Malachi Matrix had a season that wouldn't be touched, and then Jaden Thomas next year comes up and shatters it.
Buena is just destroying people right now. Their numbers are ridiculous. And wide receiver number 2 for us is going to be the Hunter. Hunter right out of Bisbee. 35 catches, 683 yards, 8 tutters. Caught it at 19.5 yards per reception. So the Hunter Wright, he turned into a superstar. He had a 4-touchdown game this year.
And I did say I had to make a special category because we have 4 really good quarterbacks, and we have dual threat quarterbacks, and I can't leave out the 4A GIA Player of the Year, Jose Ivan Aguera, 1,437 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 657 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns, 22 total. Congratulations, Ivan Aguera.
Well, and Sebastian's taking off next year, so guess what, Ivan Aguera? This is your county now.
No, we have so many good quarterbacks coming back next year.
And
I'll just run through the offensive line.
Oh, yeah, you do the offensive line.
Why
Yes,
not?
those are your peoples.
We'll start with Dylan Malley from the Berean Academy Eagles. Second time he showed up. I believe he's a freshman last year on our All-COCHISEAN team. Of course, Travis Larson from the Wilcox Cowboys. Wilcox, Juan Pablo Cordona as well on this one. The only team to have 2 starting linemen.
What gave it away? Their 5,000 rushing yards?
when you get a player of the week as an offensive lineman, you're doing something right. And then the aforementioned Sean Bookman had to put him on the offense. So there's too many good defensive linemen. So Sean Bookman equally as good as offensive line as defensive line. Let's save that defensive line for someone else. And then, of course, Case Williams, right tackle for the Benson Bobcats, 6 feet 4 inches tall, 315 pounds, an absolute monster. And there is our All-COCHISEAN first team offense.
Yeah, that's pretty solid squad. I was just looking at the first team defense, and my God, let's talk about the defensive line of the All-COCHISEAN team. We're going to start with superstar, super junior Fabian Hernandez. Oh boy. 135 tackles, 15 and a half tackles for loss, 13 sacks. What is FF?
Forced fumble.
Oh, 2 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery. Also, on the defensive line, Tot Pacheco.
Tot Pacheco.
From the St. David Tigers, 61 tackles, 40 tackles for loss, 20 and a half sacks, 3 fumble recoveries.
Let's stop right there. 40 tackles for losses from Tot Pacheco, 20 and a half sacks. That kid lived in the defensive backfield.
Ridiculous.
That's going to take us over to Marshall Larson and our first Valley Union Blue Devil making his appearance. 48 tackles, 11 sacks on the season, 2 forced fumbles, and 6 fumble recoveries.
That's ridiculous. Another kid that we're going to miss around these parts next year for football, that's going to be Andrew Gracemer at linebacker for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. He's been a stud for a long time around here. 79 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 1 pick. Mr. Do-Everything linebacker Andrew Gracemer for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets.
The aforementioned Logan Seeley's got a lot on his plate, being able to broadcast his own game and play in the championship. But here's some recognition for you, Logan. 75 tackles, 8 tackles for losses, 2 forced fumbles, and interception. Logan Seeley, first team.
5 games
all
called.
COCHISEAN.
And 5 games called.
Yeah, you kind of have to put him on there. That takes us over to Tackling Fuel, Spencer Anthony for the Bisbee Pumas.
Wait for this number.
141 tackles, 11 in the backfield, double-digit sacks, 10, and a forced fumble for Spencer Anthony.
And the other linebacker, by the way, I'm going to tell a really quick story. The other linebacker that we have on this team is Jackson Alvarez for the Bisbee Pumas.
Rounding out our team, only sophomore on the
105
team.
tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 6 picks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. You mentioned the touchdown that Jackson Alvarez had against Pima. There's a little story to tell you who Jackson Alvarez is. The play before that play, Sebastian Lopez hit a wide-open Jackson Alvarez in the end zone. Jackson Alvarez dropped the ball. That would have demoralized anybody else on the planet. Not Jackson Alvarez, because he caught the very next pass for a 35-yard touchdown. That's who Jackson Alvarez is, just so you know.
Super sophomore Jackson Alvarez, 3rd in Cochise County in interceptions with 6, behind Sebastian Lopez, and somebody we're about to talk about here in a momentarily. Starting our defensive backs, two-time selection. Elias Dyson from the Buena Colts, 43 tackles, 2 in the backfield, 3 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and a field goal blocked for Elias Dyson. Congratulations on your second first-team All-Cochisian team.
Another St. David player on this list, that's going to be defensive back Gannon Carafa. 55 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 5 picks, 2 fumble recoveries. So,
another player. He could have played wide receiver for our All-Cochisian team, but that's going to bring us over to David Fimbres.
Davian.
It is Davian. From the Douglas Bulldogs, I've typed it up and everything. For the Douglas Bulldogs, 35 tackles and 7 interceptions. Second highest total of interceptions in Cochise County this year.
The only thing that upsets me with football season, like with basketball and baseball, there's so many games we can do whatever we want. In football, we just don't get to see everybody.
No kidding.
And
right?
it drives me crazy.
Especially Douglas went on that 5-game winning streak.
Yep, didn't see Douglas once, saw Valley Union once, saw St. David
we
once.
We saw him at the Copper Pit.
Oh, that's right. Never mind.
We got everywhere. And actually,
thank you for reminding me of that.
No, we didn't do Berrien this year. We did Berrien in the playoff run last year. It's the same thing. Come on now.
But yeah, it's that's why I like basketball, baseball. We get to see everybody.
I do apologize, folks. ALA of Sierra Vista will not be on this. I do have 0 stats for the kids. So next year, and I already reached out to the basketball coach, make sure you go through max preps. That's the only way we can get our stats. We'd love to sit there and chase down these numbers wherever we can find them, but unfortunately,
he puts a lot of work in. Trust me.
Till 2 in the morning, I was doing this. I had to wake up at 7:45 today.
Rounding out, not rounding out, but the last defensive back on this team. Yeah, one of the kids that we love to say his name, Dylan Mitchell out of Valley Union. 33 tackles, 1 sack, 6 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery.
Again, 3 interceptions.
And our utility defensive all first team player is going to be the rifle, Remington Todd out of Wilcox. 47 tackles, 5 picks, a fumble recovery, a forced fumble, a field goal block. The rifle was everywhere this year, offensively and defensively. We're using you on defense.
All right, then that's going to move us over to our second team. Let's start on offense, and let's go with quarterback Cash Money Moore from the Buena Colts. And I'll tell you, Dave, I actually, halfway through the season, had written down a midseason awards, and Nash Moore was my player of the year at that point. And he was putting on a show, and that continued. 1,856 passing yards, 31 touchdowns. The stat you're going to like, your Aaron Rodgers stat. Only 3 interceptions on the season.
Exactly, 10-1 interception to touchdown ratio.
227 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. Cash Money Moore, 36 total touchdowns. Our running back number 1 is going to be Flint Davis from the Benson Bobcats. 1,133 yards, cracked that 1,000-yard mark. 7.8 yards at a clip and 15 total touchdowns.
Flint, you were fun to watch this year, my friend. I got to do 3 Benson games, and I really enjoyed watching you, just so you know. Also, running back for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, Jemiah Wallace, 925 yards, 7 tutters, 8.1 yards per carry. Jemiah Wallace, you're also a stud. Thank you for the year. And our last running back on the second team offense. How good are our running backs? Beast mode Bryson Meyer from Bisbee, 980 yards, 26 catches for 439, 17 touchdowns on the year for Bryson Meyer. Also ran it over 7 yards a carry.
The biggest wide receiving threat out of the backfield that we have on our Cochise team for sure. That's going to take us over to wide receivers, and wide receiver 1 for our second team offense is going to be Grayson Merrill out of St. David, 478 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. And
so he only catches touchdowns.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I think I made a mistake on this one.
Why is that? What are you worried about?
Don't worry about it. I'll say his name later. That's going to bring us over to wide receiver number 2 is going to be Latavius T.J. Walker from the Buena Colts, 493 receiving yards, 8 total touchdowns in this game. And I'm just going to go ahead and say his name out because I don't think I put him on here. Jabari Thomas for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. Also going to be on our All-Cochisian team. I forgot to put his name in here, so that's on me. But Jabari Thomas, wide receiver from the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, also on our All-Cochisian team.
Yeah, rounding out the skill positions, that's going to be utility player Jeremiah Bethea from Berrien. Let's see here. 11 total touchdowns, 819 passing yards, 77 carries for 556 running yards, 5 touchdowns. So that's what we call a utility player.
Had to. With him and with Aguera, Bethea and Lopez being such good dual threat quarterbacks.
We can put 3 of them in the backfield and just try to tell you who's going to throw the ball.
So it's a different game, you know? So you're not just coming up here with base personnel. You always have to have different packages to show as well. Our offensive line on second team is going to be led by Nathan Cano from the Bisbee
He had
Pumas.
a great year.
Aiden Luna, who might be the top lineman.
Also had a great year.
Tombstone Yellow Jackets. Rogelio Ramirez for the Douglas Bulldogs. Tyler Guerda, I think that's how you say his name, for the Buena Colts. And Howard Gorman for the St. David Tigers, rounding out our second team offense. Starting with our second team defense, the defensive line stats don't get any less crazy, Dave. Michael Coronado, 104 tackles, 11 in the backfield, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 2 forced fumbles. I understand he was more of a linebacker, but we have seen him play edge as a sophomore and a junior, so Michael Coronado will put him on the edge of our defensive line.
As long as he's out there somewhere.
Right.
Also on the defensive line, Caden Bidgood. Caden Bid very good for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. 39 tackles, 5 of them in the backfield, 8 sacks, and a forced fumble. Also, a kid I can't wait to watch on Friday, defensive line Trenton Williams from the Buena Colts. 60 tackles, 4 in the backfield, 5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries. Again, this kid plays the nose tackle, so you don't get the numbers that you would normally, but trust me, he makes an impact.
That's going to take us over to Ismael Cuevas, who was Defensive Player of the Year in the two-way San Pedro region. If you think it's easy to crack our team, our Defensive Player of the Year in San Pedro is on our second team. 94 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. Ismael Cuevas, the hammer, really came on in the second half of the season. Harley Van Warmer from the Benson Bobcats will be our second linebacker. 70 tackles, 8 tackles for losses, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, and a field goal block.
Also a linebacker, Yahir Luna, Val Union. 51 tackles, 6 sacks, 3 picks, and a fumble recovery. Good year for Yahir Luna. And here we go, back to the St. David Power Hour. Also a linebacker, second team All-Cochisian, Chase Pacheco. 63 tackles, 25 tackles for loss on the second team. 5.5 sacks, 4 picks, 2 forced fumbles, fumble recovery, Chase Pacheco. I think we said your name about 100 times this
Thank
year.
you, Mindy Krause. Yeah, as a running back as well. Chase Pacheco was right there on the cusp as well, over 800 rushing yards for the St. David Tigers. Thank you, Mindy Krause. It says it's Tyler Jardy. That's how you say his name. Thank you so much for that.
We're going to need that by Friday.
Hopefully.
Jardy.
I'm still wondering if that's true that we get to do this game, but that'll start us off with defensive backs for the Benson Bobcats. Dawson Judd, 34 tackles and 4 interceptions. And here we go, Johnny Torres, a name we didn't get to mention a lot for the Breen Academy Eagles. 32 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 3 interceptions, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery, making our All-Cochisian defensive back team.
Yeah, I have a crazy feeling that Dawson Judd will be on the quarterbacks for the All-Cochise team next year.
It's going to be, oh, man.
And back to the St. David Power Hour. Also, defensive back Luke Haymore out of St. David. 73 tackles, 17 for loss, a sack, 4 picks, 3 fumble recoveries. And rounding out the defensive backs on our second team, Oscar Pearson from the Douglas Bulldogs.
I took some liberties on those two.
Didn't hear that name.
No.
70 tackles, 4 picks, forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. And rounding out the All-Cochisian second-team defense, a utility player, Jose Ocano from the Douglas Bulldogs. 53 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 blocked punts. That's a utility player right there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like the Douglas Bulldogs and Breen, for the most part, had before our show goes live or after our show goes live. They got the stats, and I was looking at Douglas Bulldogs. So I did take some liberties with the defensive backs there. Luke Haymore, kind of not a defensive back, but I've seen his build. He can play it. Oscar Pearson, kind of not a defensive back, but he can play it. And then Jose Acuna, defensive lineman for the Douglas Bulldogs. Man, they just get better and better. If they can figure out the first half of the season, Douglas is going to be a postseason team, even out of the Gia region, AIA.
Oh,
so here we go.
I just looked at your awards, and I have a bone to pick with one of these.
We have. Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of awards to go, and if you're talking about Coach of the Year.
No, that's not the one I'm looking at.
Because that's the one I couldn't do. But let's go ahead. I'm going to list off these football awards, Dave. And I have a lot of them. I made a lot of stuff up for no reason at all.
You going from the bottom up or the top down?
That's a great. Let's go top. Let's go bottom up. That's
right.
a great one. Let's go. We're going to start with our underclassmen, excluding juniors. That's why I said freshman, sophomore, and we're going to go with our freshman, sophomore defensive player of the year, Top Pacheco for the St. David Tigers.
The numbers gave it away.
Obviously, offensive player of the year, freshman, sophomore.
I like this one.
Vincent Shicariello I said it right almost.
Cicariello.
Thank you. I was going to have you read that often for the St. David Tigers, quarterback freshman for St. David as well.
Oh, yeah, the St. David factory is up and running again. It's just going to keep producing.
Our sophomore player of the year, no surprise, Dave. The only sophomore freshman to make our all-Cochise team besides Top Pacheco, Jackson Alvarez.
Yeah, absolutely. Jackson is, again, he's turning into like an Anthony Molina, where he's just everywhere. Sometimes he's a linebacker, sometimes he's a running back, sometimes he's a wide receiver. Jackson Alvarez is becoming a problem.
So, I didn't want to double up awards for people here.
That's why you did what you did? Okay.
But I can't not do it. So we're going to go best punt returner, Cedar Haney out of St. David Tigers.
Yes.
I think he had 3 punt returns for touchdowns. And the person you're going to have doubled up is going to be Landon Ward, best kick returner, 4 kick return touchdowns. Like, no one's even close to that. So you have to put him on there.
We were up at Take Verde, and the Take Verde kid in the booth was like, why'd you kick at the number 24? And shriek, and he's gone.
And we're going to get over to Dave's favorite stats, best punter or best positions. Ismael Cuevas from the Wilcox Cowboys netted 41 yards a punt. Dave, those are NFL numbers.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen the kicker. That's why I was like, how did Cuevas not win kicker? Because I haven't seen this gentleman play.
Oh, Alan Martorello?
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
He was the Buena Colt kicker. Best kicker, by the way, as we run this down. Alan Martorello, 3 for 3 on field goals, and he missed 5 extra points. But you remember, he had that streak where he was 50 of 50 on extra points made for the Buena Colts.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm looking forward to watching you, Mr. Martorello.
That's going to get over to our best defensive back, Davian Thimbres from the Douglas Bulldogs, in second in interceptions. And again, I'm not doubling up players as much as I can on this one. We're going to go best linebacker, controversial, but I don't think so. 141 tackles, 10 sacks. Spencer Anthony from the Bisbee Pumas.
How many games do they play again? 141 tackles, 10 sacks. That's a sack a game. That's over 10 tackles a game. Yeah, he's the best linebacker this year.
Tay Walker says Cooper Krause is the best linebacker in 5A. I would probably agree with that. There's going to be some people that I need to put on here that I just couldn't make it.
Again, we can't get everybody.
No, the Buena Colts and the Bisbee Pumas I did tie for our all-Cochisian list. First and second teams, they both sent 8. I do believe
they had the best
Wilcox was second with 6. Benson had 5. Oh, yeah, St. David, I think, had 7. Mindy Krause says, thanks, Tay, in the chat. Absolutely, with that one. Best defensive lineman is going to be Fabian Hernandez from the Bisbee Pumas.
Fabian Hernandez is going to be playing D1 college football. If you folks aren't aware that don't watch Bisbee football, trust me, number 60's got a future.
That's going to be a little bit controversial because I do have Top Pacheco up there, but again, I'm not doubling up awards. Best offensive lineman, I have Aiden Luna from the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, and on my list, I forgot to put him on first team.
I was
after I did that.
about
I'm
to
sorry.
point that out to all the fans at home. I'm like, how do you make second team, but he's the best offensive lineman?
Look, man, I was up till 2 in the morning.
You're good.
Okay, some things got lost in translation. What do you want from me? But I do remember Aiden Luna from the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, absolutely monster for the 3 years that we've been watching.
Yes.
Best wide receiver, no surprise, been saying it all year, Jaden Thomas from the Buena Colts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the only person,
I can't wait to watch Buena on Friday.
The best running back, Landon Ward from the Wilcox Cowboys. The only
think?
person that got doubled up really here. I guess Todd kind of did.
No, you doubled up the next one as well.
Best quarterback, you're right about that, Nash Moore for the Buena Colts. Cash Money Moore. Defensive team of the year as we go into the team stats.
Yeah, that's a toughie. I don't even know how you made a decision on that.
I had 2 really good
Benson
ones.
Up there, you get the Wilcox up
so
there.
Originally I had Benson on there. Then I had St. David on there. But the Burn Academy Eagles, aside from the first game of the season, haven't slipped up defensively at all, and they have not allowed over 20 points since then. So the Burn Academy Eagles, my defensive team of the year. My offensive team of the year, no surprise, the Bisbee Pumas. That's why they have 15 all-Cochisian kids on the offense for them. Here we go, Dave. Our team of the year. There's so many teams we could have picked.
Well, Buena had a year they haven't had since 1963.
Buena Colts.
The Buena Colts. Of course it's the Buena Colts. They're still playing. And they're playing big boy football, baby. Let's go.
It's so tough. It's so tough. That's going to make our coach of the year, Joseph Thomas from the Buena Colts. Congratulations, Coach Thomas. If you ever catch this show.
You could have gone Lopez on that one because he went.
I could have.
Because he went 9-1 in the regular season with Bisbee. But yes, Joseph Thomas is doing things in Buena they haven't seen in a very long time.
Or Coach Champton for the Burn Academy Eagles is what I was thinking as well. But it was tough. It's a tough one. There's a lot of good talent out there, coaches. And Tay Walker says y'all definitely love 2A ball. Respect y'all. Yeah, absolutely.
I love all ball.
Like
I said, I'll commentate two guys running through a parking lot. I don't care.
It's the way we have one 5A team, we have one 4A team, we have 4 1A teams. Technically, now that ALA is here, we only have and we have 4 2A teams. So a lot of the stats are going to come from 4A.
For
2A.
If it wasn't for the Buena Video Club has been doing a great job for the Buena games. That's why you don't get us for Buena, but you get us on Friday. So I'm going to be saying touchdown Colts a whole bunch.
Ryan Russell's in the chat saying this again. You're fine, Ryan. That's going to lead us to our 3 top categories. Defensive Player of the Year, no surprise, 20.5 sacks. Top Pacheco for the St. David Tigers leads all of Arizona, regardless of classification. 1A to 5A to 6A to open, doesn't matter. Top Pacheco, 20.5 sacks.
That made his year in St. David when I saw him, and I was like, you're his favorite player, right? And he's like, me? I was like, yeah, you.
You know what?
What's that?
You're right, Dave. I did double up that. Offensive Player of the Year is going to be Scrappy Bonilla from the Buena Colts. Got it in just in time.
Yes.
I didn't, again, 4 in the morning. 2 in the morning.
No. Scrap. I mean, this thing runs. We all know. I mean, Buena is a well-oiled machine, but this thing starts with Scrappy, and then it trickles on to everybody else, all the other stars.
And then, of course, our Player of the Year,
if I may, he's here. He's there. He's every freaking where. Sebastian Lopez.
So if
How
we do,
is he not?
Yeah, no kidding, right? So there we go. Our top
7,000
2
yards,
schools sending our all Cochisian teams, the Buena Colts and the Bisbee Pumas, only fitting, Dave, because they were the last 2 teams that were standing for this. So theoretically, the 2 best teams. And I didn't even do it that way. So St. David or Bisbee and Buena had 8 kids on the all Cochisian team, and then St. David had 7. I mean, Breen got a little, but Breen didn't have the stats. I was trying.
Either way, November football, late November football in Sierra Vista, Arizona. Enjoy the show. We don't get that around here. We're supposed to be in the gym by now.
We will be tomorrow. I cannot wait for basketball season.
Oh, it's my favorite season.
They're
all my favorite.
I was doing some preliminary searches. Of course, Jammin Booker is a name we're going to look for. Pacheco, Jesus Pacheco from Buena as well, but is 6'4", and they also have a 6'6" kid on Buena that I'm interested in checking out. Hopefully he gets the start, but we're not done with football just yet, Dave.
Not yet. I got a 3-question, pick the big guy's brain over here, quizzy for Pizzy.
Yay.
All right, so let's start with number 1. Normally I would not care about such a thing because I've been watching this my whole life and it happens to everybody, but it's always weird when it happens to the GOATs. Justin Tucker has fallen off the map, my friend.
Yes, he has.
Justin Tucker, the greatest kicker that most of us have ever seen, is no longer the greatest kicker that most of us have ever seen.
It all goes back to the AFC Championship game, but maybe if he wasn't practicing, he kicks on the opposite goal line, which is a place you can't kick from anyway. Maybe it would be different, but I mean that's what happens. Hey, Ryan Russell in the chat says Pizzy time. Lena Morris teeters in the chat says it's cold, folks. Trust me. Says love football, but can't wait for baseball season. No kidding. But I think that's it. The AFC Championship game, Justin Tucker got into his head, and it is wild to see.
So if you're Baltimore, what do? Do you just ride this thing out? He cost them the Pittsburgh game. Do you just ride this thing out with Justin Tucker because he's your GOAT?
It was his response to that as well, where he was sitting there blaming the field when not Crosby, Boswell for the Steelers just went 6 of 6.
Yeah,
an opposite kicker did your job better than you, so you can't blame it on the field or anything. But he just looks different, and kicking. It's much like golf. Like they're trotting out for one shot at a time, one kick at a time. And that's when you start getting in your head mentally. I can't imagine that anything physically is wrong with Justin Tucker. If it is, that would lend itself to explaining some of this. But, man, just like you said, off the face of the earth, it's so crazy seeing Justin Tucker be the most automatic kicker in the history of the NFL, has the longest game-winning kick in the NFL, and then just falls off a map.
Did you see that he is no longer the most accurate kicker in the NFL? He lost that. Did you see who it is now? Weirdest thing ever. The most accurate kicker in NFL history is Eddie Pinheiro for the Carolina Panthers.
Interesting.
Isn't that right? Isn't that random? All right, question number 2. It looks like they've exorcised their demons, and there's no more ghosts in their closet. It is time for the Kansas City Chiefs to officially be scared of the LA Chargers?
Next year, for sure. I wouldn't
Why
say
not
scared,
this year?
Because we got such a lead on them in the division. I mean, if they beat us and we slip up once, maybe they can come back, but we have a better AFC conference record right now.
Harbaugh has them boys coached up. Well, what did we see last year where they blew that big lead in the playoffs? And now we saw it again. We saw it again Sunday night. They blew that big lead and they came back to win it.
Everyone is happy that they didn't lose the game against the Bengals, but what I saw is they still blew a lead. And I was watching that game front to back, and it shouldn't have been 24-6. I believe is the highest it was.
Butt kicking
was the most. The
I
league
thought
was.
maybe Vegas had pushed the button in the second half because the Chargers were smoking them.
But yeah, I mean, so for me, the LA Chargers are just a year too early. Next year, they're going, and when Joe Alt comes into his own, offensive linemen generally, it's a little bit tricky in the NFL. So these teams have days. They have 60, 80-hour work weeks to figure out what tendency you have that they can attack. Just ask a couple field goal blocks over. So, I mean, if you have bad technique, which usually, takes a year to figure out if you do have bad technique on something next year, I think the Chargers are going to be very good. Of course, I'm not going to pick against the Chiefs, but this will be the first year where the Chargers are preseason favorites, and it's actually warranted. They've been preseason AFC West favorites for 10 years now.
In your head.
You just got to watch sports media.
All right, and so question number 3. We have a quarterback problem once again in the NFL. Daniel Jones just got knocked down to the 3rd team. What do teams like the Raiders and the Giants have to do to figure this out?
Ownership, top down.
What? And why is everybody so bad at evaluating these things? Like, they cannot figure out who's good and who's bad. They thought Caleb Williams was Patrick Mahomes, and Caleb Williams is more like Zach Wilson.
To be fair, they're playing pretty much the same this year.
But yeah,
Gerald Morgan, my name is Paul. So this is the 15th time he's called me.
But yes, I mean, so his ownership is the reason. That's the Daniel Jones problem. That's the Gardner Minshew problem. Is ownership?
Yeah, I would say it starts with leadership from the top down. When you look at teams that even when they're having down years, they're never out of it. You can take your team for example, the Seattle Seahawks. They're always there. They always figure it out. It's a culture setter. Right away. And then you got to remember the owner is the one that hires the general manager. The general manager makes all the decisions going into any and everything that's not football strategy related in terms of on the field product. And so that person has to hire the people that do the strategy, has to hire the personnel. So he's up in the suite with the owners. And so people think owners are hands off. There's these people. That's not the case. There's a reason the bad teams stay bad. They're the reason the Browns and the Jets are always the Browns and the Jets. What happened to the Detroit Lions? New ownership came in. It's the same family, but I can't remember her name.
Ford.
Yeah, Sheila Ford. Thank you for that. Sheila Ford takes over the team. They hire a competent general manager. They hire Dan Campbell, and look at that. The Lions aren't the same old Lions anymore. So I'm sorry, but it all comes from ownership top down.
So should Woody Allen sell the team then?
Who's Woody Allen?
The Jets. He's the owner of the Jets.
No, it's
What? Anyway, I mean, again, see, and that's the whole thing is how do you fix it? Because the Jets thought
Woody Johnson.
Woody Johnson.
It's like Woody Allen's the director.
The Jets thought that they had fixed it, and they went out and got the greatest quarterback ever, and it's even worse than it was before. So maybe it's ownership.
That was obvious to see, and I remember when they signed the Jets, and you're like, oh, they signed Aaron Rodgers, like, Jets are a problem. Jets are a problem. They got Garrett Wilson. They have Brees Hall. They have all these people, and my exact wording to you was the Jets are the Jets. I'm not worried about the Jets until further notice.
Yeah, and they sure jets their way last Sunday, didn't they?
But it is nice to see. Gerald Morgan in chat says Arizona's beating the Seahawks this Sunday.
Yeah, good luck with that. Let me play you, midget man.
So those are all the questions Dave has for me. We might be running down this one a little quick because of the cold. But, Dave, you said you might have a prediction today.
I have a prediction, and I just came up with a diatribe as well.
Okay.
My bold prediction, and this one, we don't even need to keep receipts on this one. I predict that I will never watch another Jake Paul fight again. There it is.
Nailed it.
Like that. What an embarrassment.
I got a prediction for you. Buena Colts are in the semifinals.
Oh, well, that was an easy one. But, yeah, I predicted I'll never watch Jake Paul ever fight again. I renewed my Netflix for that. You were with me coming back from Pima, and we watched that fight or whatever that was together.
And Dave Davies, I guess in the moment, this is going to be a fun diatribe. Dave Davies, you are ranting, you are raving. That's what we call David. Take it away, Mr. Davies.
Well, this is something that I mentioned maybe about 6 months ago-ish, something like that. We had UFC this weekend, and the baddest man on the planet, John Jones, went into that ring against what is conceded the greatest heavyweight of all time.
He was supposed to lose. You was probably called him
I didn't
lose.
say he was going to lose that
really?
fight.
Not
No.
that one? Okay.
But John Jones easily beat Stipe Miocic to retain his heavyweight title. And as I had said on this show 6 months ago, something like that, there's a guy coming down the pipe named Tom Aspinall, a British guy. Now, here's the thing with John Jones. People have been telling him for 15 years, this guy can beat you, this guy can beat you, this guy can beat you. John Jones has dispatched of every one of them. There's a guy coming down the pipe that could beat John Jones. John Jones going into Saturday said he would never fight this man. After he beat Stipe, apparently the fight love resurged in his blood. He said, you know what, I will fight Tom Aspinall. So I'll tell you what, when this fight comes down, I am going to put up my reputation, my house, my car against this man right here, that Tom Aspinall is going to kick John Jones' ass. So it's 6 months from
you own
now.
your house. I could actually take that.
6 months from now, I am going to put the farm against this guy right here that Tom Aspinall is going to beat John Jones.
So for those of you who don't know, ever since John Jones won the light heavyweight championship the first time, every single fight, God, I remember the build, the bald guy. He was bigger. I can't remember his name.
No, it was Shogun.
Mauricio Shogun. Thank you. Ever since then, Davis picked John Jones to lose every single time, and he's told me that this guy's going to do it, this guy's going to do it, this guy's going to do it, and they never do. So I will gladly take your house, Dave, and you can keep the car. But all right, that's going to do it. Here from the Sierra Vista Golf Center, of course, thank you to Synergy Home Care. When you need to find care for someone you love, it's important that it feels right. Call Synergy today, 520-685-1035, serving all of Cochise and Santa Cruz counties.
Now, I told you we were going to be giving stuff away today. Let your friends know. For now on our Tuesday shows, we're going to be giving away 9 holes of golf for Sierra Vista Golf
Congratulations,
Center.
Keith Landry.
Congratulations, Keith Landry. We're going to let them know in the pro shop that you can accept your free golf. We're going to be giving those away, the 9 holes a week. So get your friends into the show, get them into the chat if they want to come down and play this beautiful golf course for free. And before I get out of here, I want to thank Texas Roadhouse. We have Dine to Donate programs. We have one tonight for the Sierra Vista Dance Company. If you have a charitable cause that you want to help out with, any of that good stuff, come see Jaime, come see Tracy, come see Ashley Romack over at Roadhouse. And you mentioned that you watch this show, you get free fried pickles or potato skins. But that being said, he just walked off the set. That was Paul Pizzy Corner. I'm Dave Davies. We will see you in Buena on Friday to watch the Buena Colts go to the semifinals, baby.